Boom. So we have 32 inches to 32 inches front to back. Then we have 4 feet wide. We have it leveled as much as possible. So now we're ready to pretty much put the base on there. That's gonna pretty much hold and support the rest of the weight that we put on here. So here we're just using an inch OSB board, This is probably the minimum that you want to go for these systems. You can get away with a 3/4 inch OSB for a deep water culture system, but for the media bed, you can forget it. It's not going to hold the weight. It's going to be bowing in the little in the spaces where there's no support. So an inch, if we just stick with that, then it's going to work perfectly fine. So we're just basically just going to stick this OSB board on top of the planks. And then that's going to be pretty much our base support for the rest of the structure. Now moving along, it's time to place our side panels on top of the build. So what we're using here is these 2 by 12 by 8. It's 2 inches thick, it's 12 inches high, and it's 8 feet long. So we're going to use 2 of these for the side, pretty much the side support. And then we're going to use an extra one for the front and back support. So basically what we're doing here is we're going to just attach the bottom support to the side support using some screws. And these are just 3-inch outdoor wood screws. And then we're just going to nail these all the way across to we're just basically building just structural integrity. And we're just kind of pretty much just piece everything together and just make everything as solid as possible. So we're going to put as many as many screws as we can possible throughout the edge of both sides of the side support and of the bottom. Once we finish that, now we can focus on building the front and back supports. Now what we're doing is using the same thing, the 2 by 12 by 8, but we're gonna cut this in half. We're gonna cut it in half. Basically, we're gonna use 4 feet sections. So make a mark, and then we're gonna whip out the circular saw. I told you guys in the tools required lecture that we need a circular saw. This is one of the required aquaponic tools. I mean, if you don't have one of these, what do you think you're gonna do? Just chop it with your hand or something? Absolutely not. It's time to whip out the circular saw, and now we're gonna cut this piece in half, and this is gonna provide the front and back support. Simple as that. Now once everything is cut up, then we can just place it on this the back or front, whichever one you want to do first. Line it up nice and neat with the side supports, and then we're just gonna slap a 3-inch nail or a 3-inch screw. I don't know why I keep wanting to say nails, because I don't know. I don't even use nails, but a 3-inch screw to connect both supports together. And this is gonna provide a great sturdiness for this build. So with that being said, now we have pretty much a complete structure. We have the skeleton of it pretty much built out. And now we can just start working on the inner parts of the structure. Start drilling some of the holes and start putting some plumbing inside of here. And what we're gonna start with is we're gonna pick one side of this box of this bed, and then we're going to use that portion to put our drainage in. And what I'm doing here is I'm just going to use a hole saw, an 1.25-inch hole saw. I'm just going to put a small drainage in here. This is going to suffice for this build, because this is not a large system here. It's not a lot of flow of water is going to be coming through here. So I'm just going to put it's going to be a 1/2-inch uniseal that's going to go inside of this 1.25-inch hole saw hole that I have just drilled inside of this inside of the bed. Now you can drill 1 or 2. I drilled 2 of them in here just to have one for backup. But you could just put 1 in here. It just depends on how much flow. Or you could put a larger uniseal in here. It just depends on how much flow you're going to be having going through here. If you're having a lot of flow coming through here, then you're going to need a larger diameter hole and hole saw and pipe, or you're just going to have to drill more of these 1.5-inch uniseals, holes for the uniseals. And these are a lot easier, to be honest with you, to put in there. These are like pieces of cake to put in. Once you start going larger with the diameters, it gets a lot more rough to get in there to put pipes inside of the uniseals for plumbing. So that's just a little food for thought, but pretty much just going to drill one extra one here just to have it for backup. And that's just the way it is. Now we can move on to the next portion of the build. But wait, hold on. No, what we need to do is clean out all of this debris inside of the bed. We could have done this in the beginning, which probably could have been easier. We could have drilled these holes before we even connected anything together. But either way it goes, you just need to get rid of the debris that's inside of there, because we don't want it to be ripping or tearing on the pond liner that we're getting ready to install inside of the system. So let's not forget that.